Okay guys, welcome back to another documentary on Japan. Today what we're going to be talking about is buildings in Japan. Some are going to be very important and some are just going to be to let you know some casual things you can do when you're just walking the streets of Japan. We're going to go ahead outside and take a look, and I'll show you some samples of some of the many buildings that you will see when you're either visiting or living here. Our first building is going to be the Konbini, which is pretty much short for Convenience Mart. These places are good for picking up some snacks, picking up a few drinks, or just some basic supplies or groceries for your house. They're dotted all throughout the city in Japan, and just as they're called a Konbini for convenience, they're very convenient, and you can pick up magazines or just some sandwiches or whatever you want. They also have bentos, which are so tasting, never really that great, never really that bad, and you'll probably use these quite a bit if you live here in Japan. Our next building is the Koban, and what the Koban is a police box, and these are posted every few kilometers in almost every part of the town. The denser your town, the more you're going to have. And these are places where the police are stationed and usually patrol a certain area. These are great for going in to ask directions or just getting any kind of help you might need if you're in trouble in Japan. Our next building is a really important one. It is the Kusuriya, or medicine shop. Okay? If you can see the hiragana up there at the top that says Kusuri, that means medicine. These are going to be your places to pretty much buy any over-the-counter medicine that will help you out with dealing with minor aches and pains and headaches or indigestion problems like that don't need a doctor's treatment. Always a good source. Japan has great medicine. Usually going to have to take a little bit more than probably the average Japanese person because we tend to be a little bit bigger. But there's your sample of a medicine shop, a kusuriya. Here's another fun place to go. This is Super Jankara. This is a very popular chain of karaoke stores in Osaka, and pretty much you can go here. You can have a few hours of karaoke with your friends, usually pretty cheap, probably about 2,000 to sometimes as cheap as 600 yen an hour, depending on what kind of deal they have going. And Jankara always has a good selection, so I would suggest going to that one. Right here we have a notorious love hotel. And if you know anything about these, I don't need to explain further, but if you don't, what this pretty much is a nice place to take perhaps a girlfriend or a date or someone you want to have intimate affairs with. This one right here is called the Yanchan, which kind of means frisky kitty. And I'm going to go ahead and let you imagine what that means. Usually they're pretty cheap. It's about 3,000 yen or $30 for an hour stay to do whatever you want, or 6,800 for an overnight stay. And these places usually have video games, a bed, videos for you to watch. You can guess what kind of videos those are. And are very small little rooms in which you just buy a ticket and you're set. Okay. Right here is an example of your typical izakaya, and this one right here is called Hachimaru, which pretty much means 80 or 8 circle, whichever one. And they usually are a great place for serving Japanese tapas, or small dishes that you share with you and your friends. Never going to leave you too heavily filled, but usually about so-so food. Never really that great, never really that bad, but a great place to go and drink with your friends. Although this isn't a building, I thought it's still important you see this. This is a post office box in Japan, a public one where you can just drop off your mail. Unlike America, you can't just put your mail in your own mailbox to be picked up. You actually have to put it at a public mailbox to be picked up. And let me show you the symbol right here. When you see that little 2 bars right there, that means it has to do with Japan's post office. So always keep an eye out for those when you want to mail a letter. Alright, another thing that is not a building is the vending machines here. And for every 13 people that are in Japan, there's one vending machine. So as you can guess, Japan has many vending machines.
Your average drink is going to be about 120 yen to 150 yen. They carry an assortment of amino drinks, soft drinks, and usually coffee drinks. And you can find one almost at any corner. Usually they have a trash can next to them. It's always good to try and throw your can away there because there's not a lot of public trash cans in Japan. Here's one of the most important buildings that you'll probably go to when you first come to Japan, and this is your city ward office. This is mine, Abiko Ward, and all of them look very different, so just seeing this building probably isn't helping too much. I don't know if you can read the kanji, but some of that's going to be the same on every one of these. When you first come to Japan, this is where you go to get registered. You'll hear this called either ward office or city town hall. And remember, you got to go there 3 weeks of arriving in Japan to get your gaijin card. Here's a good one, a 100 yen shop. And this is pretty much your equivalent to the American dollar shop. And this will let you get some cheap supplies for your house, and for a very, very cheap 100 yen. Don't always trust the quality of the stuff that is in this shop. I don't really suggest buying a lot of things here. You're good for maybe towels or dishes or cutlery, but I really wouldn't suggest buying anything you want to last more than a month at a 100 yen shop. Okay guys, those are some buildings in Japan. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any buildings you saw today, feel free to send me a message and I'll answer it as best I can. Next time.